If you are getting ready for a job interview, especially if that interview is happening in, a high-pressure environment and in a language that isn't your first, then you know exactly what anxiety feels like.
Oh, absolutely.
It's that knot in your stomach, right? The little voice was whispering, what if I can't find the right word? Or what if I completely misunderstand the question?
And that anxiety is, it's completely understandable. The high stakes combine linguistic pressure with professional pressure.
Right,
It's not just about proving your skills.
right.
It's about navigating a whole professional culture,
Mm.
sounding confident, and communicating, pretty complex ideas clearly when you're really under the clock.
And that is exactly our mission today. We're basically ripping up that old stressful prep process and we're replacing it with a strategic confidence-building toolkit.
Hmm.
This deep dive is designed to be your cheat sheet, a shortcut to mastering common English interview questions. We want to give you specific phrases, proven strategies, and the why behind them so you can walk in feeling, 100% prepared, regardless of your current fluency level.
We've synthesized a really comprehensive guide to interview mastery for this. It covers the entire journey, from your nonverbal communication in that first greeting all the way to complex topics like salary negotiation and the post-interview follow-up.
And we're not just listing generic advice here.
No, not at all. We're providing the strategic context that can elevate your interview performance from just, adequate to genuinely exceptional.
We're breaking the whole thing down into distinct, actionable phases. So let's not delay. Let's unpack this crucial information and start where every single interview begins, securing that critical first impression.
If you think about the interview as a movie, the first 5 minutes are basically the trailer.
That's a great way to put it.
They set the tone, they establish your character, and they determine whether the audience, in this case the interviewer, wants to keep watching. Your body language in those first few words are just disproportionately important in establishing professional respect.
I think we sometimes forget that professional fluency is just as vital as linguistic fluency. It's about signaling immediately, I am serious, I respect your time, and I am prepared.
Yeah.
So let's look at that very first step, the entrance and initial greeting.
Mm.
You mentioned professional fluency. What does that actually look like in those opening seconds?
Well, it looks like intentional clarity and warmth. It's about moving beyond a casual hi or hello.
Right.
You really need to use professional greetings. The source material emphasizes saying hello, clearly, using the time-appropriate phrase, whether that's good morning or good afternoon. It sounds so basic, doesn't it?
It does, but you're right. Under pressure, we often rush or mumble these simple things.
Exactly.
And the key nugget of advice here is adding value immediately, right? Not just saying hello, but showing respect for the appointment itself.
Precisely. That addition is what elevates the whole interaction. You shouldn't just stop at the greeting. You immediately follow up with phrases like, nice to meet you, or maybe more formally, thank you for meeting with me today.
Oh, I like that last one.
That last phrase, especially, is excellent. It shows gratitude for their time right off the bat, and it sets a respectful, positive dynamic for the relationship. It signals that you really value the opportunity they're giving you.
That initial respect sets the stage. Okay, so now let's pivot to logistics. The boring stuff that actually underpins our confidence. This is the preparation checklist. Rule number 1 is, well, it's non-negotiable. Arrive early, never be late.
Being late for a first interview is, for most places, it's almost an immediate disqualifier.
It has to be.
It communicates, before you've even said a word, that you lack discipline or respect for their schedule. But arriving early isn't just about avoiding being late, it's a strategic move for you. If you arrive, say, 15 minutes early, you give yourself this critical time to breathe, to visit the restroom, to review your notes one last time, and most importantly, to let those high nerves just settle before you physically walk into the room.
It's a mental decompression period.
It is, absolutely.
And the physical checklist, that should never be neglected either. We need to present a clean and neat look dress professionally. And the source suggests bringing at least 3 copies of your resume. Why 3 specifically?
3 is the gold standard because you should always assume there might be a panel interview, even if you were only scheduled to meet with one person.
Right. Someone else could just get pulled in at the last minute.
Exactly. Sometimes a colleague or a manager will unexpectedly join the meeting. Having 3 crisp, organized copies ensures that you can hand one to every person without fumbling or looking unprepared. It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes about how meticulous you are.
And beyond the resumes, the classic tools. A pen and paper.
Yes. Always carry a professional-looking pad and a pen. Taking notes shows active, earnest engagement. It lets you jot down names or important details or maybe questions that pop into your head mid-discussion.
And it communicates that you value the information they're sharing.
Precisely, that you're serious about retention.
And the single biggest logistical failure point in the modern era, technology management. Turn off your phone. And I mean off.
Absolutely. The source insists on turning it off, not just muting it, and there's a good psychological reason for that. Even a vibrating phone on the table can just shatter the professional atmosphere and distract not only you, but also the interviewer.
Oh, for sure.
It suggests that something outside that room, maybe your personal life, is more important than the professional engagement happening right now. Total discipline here is key.
Let's transition now to body language and demeanor. Your physical presence often pre-qualifies your answers. I mean, you might be speaking perfect English, but if your body language is screaming, "I am terrified," the message is just diluted.
Nonverbal communication is, it's a filter through which your spoken words are processed. A crucial start is posture. Sit up straight. Good posture isn't just about looking nice. It projects stability, confidence, and energy. It shows you're physically present and ready to engage.
And the perennial question, what do we do with our hands? We want to avoid, excessive movement, but stiffness is also bad.
Keep your hands visible. You can use them to gesture naturally when you're talking, which helps regulate your speech and even aids in verbal recall, especially when you're speaking a second language.
But there's a cardinal rule. Right.
There is. Universally understood as negative. Never cross your arms. It just signals defensiveness or boredom or kind of closed-off hostility. Keep them relaxed, maybe resting lightly on your lap or on the table in front of you.
That subconscious signal is so important. Another key signal is showing active interest. We should lean slightly forward, correct?
That slight lean forward is a physical manifestation of engagement. It subtly says, I am focused on you and what you're saying. You combine that with the simple but powerful act of nodding when the interviewer speaks, and you're signaling active listening and processing. This connection is vital, especially if you need a moment to translate what they said in your head.
Okay, let's talk about the common pitfalls, the nervous habits. Fidgeting, touching your hair, tapping your fingers. These are all self-soothing behaviors that just look unprofessional.
They absolutely are. Fidgeting draws attention away from your words and makes you appear anxious or even dishonest. If you feel that nervousness bubbling up, the strategic advice is internal rather than external. Take deep, conscious breaths. Regulating your breath is the fastest physical way to combat an anxiety response, helping you stay calm and relaxed, and it prevents you from talking too fast.
That brings us back to the core challenge for the learner, language delivery. Stress makes us rush, which just kills clarity. We need to speak clearly and intentionally avoid talking too fast. But let's address a huge concern for anyone interviewing in a second language. What if the interviewer has a strong accent or uses some unfamiliar jargon and you genuinely don't understand the question?
This is a high-stakes moment, and I have to say, guessing is the worst possible option.
Oh, for sure.
It is professional and mature to just ask for clarification. It shows that you prioritize accuracy over speed.
And the source material gives us two excellent non-apologetic phrases for this.
Yes, and keep them simple, direct, and polite. Could you repeat that, please? Or can you explain what you mean? If you need more time to process a long question, you can professionally combine this with a fluency tool, which we'll get to later, but simply asking for repetition gives your brain a second chance to decode the information.
Let me bring up a nuanced point that often comes up, especially in, global corporate settings. We talked about eye contact as a sign of confidence, but what if you, the candidate, are from a culture where direct eye contact with someone senior is actually considered disrespectful? How do you balance your cultural norms with the professional expectations of the interview?
That's a critical question that demands some nuance. In most Western professional environments, direct, sustained eye contact is interpreted as honesty and confidence. However, if your cultural background makes this difficult or uncomfortable, the solution is, well, it's strategic compromise. You don't need to stare relentlessly.
Right.
Instead, you can focus on what's called the triangle method. You look at the interviewer's eyes for a few seconds, then you briefly shift your focus to the bridge of their nose or their forehead, and then back to their eyes.
So you're maintaining engagement without causing personal discomfort or, appearing aggressive.
Exactly. This allows you to signal attention and respect without violating a deeply ingrained cultural norm. It shows that you understand the requirement for connection while managing your own comfort level, and it's a sustainable technique for long interviews. The main takeaway is just to avoid looking down, which is universally interpreted as submissive or evasive.
We've established the confident physical presence and all the necessary logistical groundwork. Now we transition into the core of the interview, the actual words. Section 2 is dedicated to mastering the core conversational questions, that famous trilogy that forms the backbone of almost every single job interview in the world.
These questions seem deceptively simple, but they are powerful assessment tools. They gauge your ability to focus, to synthesize your experience, and to understand the professional context of the discussion. Failure here often isn't because of a lack of skill, but a lack of strategic framing. Let's start with the first one. Tell me about yourself, the icebreaker.
The strategy has to be immediate and disciplined. Keep the answer short and laser-focused strictly on work, experience, and relevant skills. Expert speaker. Why is it so vital to avoid sharing your entire life story, your hobbies, or your family history, even if you're speaking English perfectly?
Because the interviewer is assessing your professional utility. If you spend the first 3 minutes talking about your cat and your love of hiking, you're using up valuable time and you're signaling that you don't understand the formal business purpose of the meeting.
Right.
This is a 60-second elevator pitch designed to segue perfectly into the job description. The goal is to quickly create a bridge between your past experience and their current needs.
That framing, the 60-second professional persona, is so key. Let's look at how concisely this can be done using the examples from the source.
Okay, take the first one. I have 3 years of experience in sales. I enjoy working with customers and helping them. That gives them the duration of your experience, the industry, and a key behavioral trait, customer enjoyment, that immediately suggests you're good at it. It's tight, factual, and positive.
And for someone fresh out of school, the pitch changes a little bit, but it stays focused on ambition. I recently graduated with a degree in computer science. I'm very interested in programming. This highlights your educational background and immediate career focus.
And if you're applying for a more generalist role, a positive overview works well. I'm a hard worker who likes to learn new things. I have experience in customer service. See how it links a positive quality, hard worker, with a relevant functional skill, customer service. You're selling your work ethic first.
The takeaway for Tell Me About Yourself is just ruthless editing. Only include details that make you a better candidate for this specific job.
Now for 2.2, what are your strengths? This is your confidence moment. You have to be honest, but you must focus only on positive traits that make you a high-performing worker. The danger here is being too generic, saying things like, I'm nice.
Yeah, we need to connect the abstract strength to a concrete, work-related outcome. This is where the idea of transferable skills really comes into play. These are skills that are valuable no matter what the industry is.
Exactly. Don't just list an adjective, show how you apply it. Instead of just, I'm organized, use the source material strong example. I'm very organized. I always finish my work on time. The second half shows the tangible benefit of your organization to the employer, punctuality and reliability.
And if the job requires collaboration, the focus shifts to teamwork. I work well with other people. I'm a good team player. This addresses that fundamental requirement of modern teamwork environments.
For analytical or technical roles, you focus on resolution. I'm good at solving problems. When something is difficult, I find solutions. This shows resourcefulness and mental resilience. And in fast-paced environments, you highlight adaptability. I learn quickly. I'm not afraid of new challenges. These examples prove you understand that your strength is a tool for their success.
These statements are, simple in their language, but they're very sophisticated in their strategy. They communicate capability without crossing that line into arrogance.
And now, the most psychologically charged question, 2.3. What are your weaknesses? This is where so many candidates panic and try to invent some fake weakness, or, even worse, reveal a true liability.
It's a trick question, isn't it? But not in the way most people think. It's not designed to disqualify you. It's designed to gauge your self-awareness and your capacity for personal improvement. If you say you have no weaknesses, you signal immaturity and a pretty severe lack of self-reflection.
The secret is what we can call the acknowledgement plus improvement strategy. You acknowledge a manageable fault, but you immediately provide proof that you are actively taking steps to overcome it. This demonstrates a proactive approach to your own professional development.
So, rule 1, what to avoid. Do not choose serious faults that directly impact daily work. Anything involving poor time management, conflict with others, or laziness is just instantly fatal to your application. We have to choose high-quality weaknesses.
High-quality weaknesses often look like the flip side of a strength. The example the source provides is brilliant. Sometimes I work too slowly because I want everything perfect, but I'm learning to work faster.
Let's break down the psychology of that answer. You're essentially telling the interviewer, my weakness is that I care too much about quality.
Precisely. You frame the fault slowness as a direct consequence of a high standard perfectionism. And then the second part, I'm learning to work faster, proves self-awareness and commitment. You transform a deficit into a growth opportunity.
Another great example deals with a very common anxiety.
Mm.
I get nervous when I speak in public, but I'm taking a class to improve. Again, the corrective action is clear and structured.
Or if the gap is technical, you frame it as a temporary knowledge deficit, not a lack of drive. I'm not very good with technology, but I'm learning new programs every day. This is critical because it demonstrates an appetite for learning, which is often more valuable than immediate expertise. Employers are looking for people who can self-correct.
So to structure this answer effectively, especially if you're navigating it in a second language, you could practice this three-step formula. 1. State the weakness clearly. 2. Briefly explain its impact or origin without complaining. 3. Detail the specific action you're taking to improve it. That structure gives you clarity and control under pressure.
That structure is vital. This is the moment to signal maturity. You're not a finished product, and you acknowledge that, but you are a candidate who knows how to invest in themselves.
Okay, so having successfully navigated that trilogy of conversational questions, we now shift from the past and present your skills to the future, your commitment and your intent. Section 3 is all about connecting your personal goals directly to the company's mission.
This section is about showing the interviewer that hiring you is a long-term investment, not just a temporary transaction. We start with 3.1. Why do you want to work here? This is a direct test of your preparation and your sincerity.
This is where you prove you haven't just sent out 50 generic applications. You must research the company beforehand, their website, their mission, their latest news, maybe their reputation in the industry. Why? Because your answer has to be tailored to them specifically.
Failure to research results in those generic answers like, it seems like a good company. You need to move beyond flattery and demonstrate genuine alignment. And the source material categorizes effective answers really beautifully.
The first category is mission alignment. You share their values. I really like your company because you help people. I want to be part of your team. This is great for nonprofits or socially conscious organizations.
The second one focuses on professional trajectory. Your company has a good reputation. I believe I can grow and learn here. This frames the company as an ideal environment for your development, and it assures them that you see this job as an ascent, not just a lateral move.
And the third focuses on the immediate fit, linking back to your core skills. I'm excited about this position because it matches my skills and interests perfectly. This shows you understand the job profile, and you're eager to apply your existing capabilities.
And notice how all three of those answers are outwardly focused. They talk about the company or the role, not just the benefit to you, the candidate. They're selling the idea that you're a positive addition to their ecosystem.
Next up, 3.2. Why should we hire you? This is your hard pitch. This question explicitly asks you to articulate your value proposition. What is the specific, quantifiable value you bring that sets you apart from the other 20 candidates?
This requires confidence, but also precision. You need to speak about what makes you special, what you bring that is unique. A good value proposition isn't just about hard work. It's about delivering measurable results.
So let's talk about how to sound confident without sounding arrogant. The key is grounding your assertiveness in facts, not just boasting.
Instead of saying, I'm the best, you say, I have the right skills for this job, I work hard, and I learn fast. That's a strong general statement grounded in your work ethic.
A statement demonstrating deep commitment to their success is also really compelling. I'm very motivated. I will do my best to help your company succeed. This shows immediate alignment with their bottom line.
And for a more advanced proposition, one that focuses on outcomes, you could say something like, I have experience in this field, I understand what you need, and I can deliver results. The phrase deliver results is a huge trigger for hiring managers.
And if you can, you should think about adding a quick, relevant metric. For example, in my last role, I streamlined the filing process, saving the team about 2 hours per week.
Yes. Even a small metric shows that you think about efficiency and measurable impact. Your value proposition should answer the question, if they hire me, what will be different or better tomorrow?
Finally, 3.3 addresses the long-term vision. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? The interviewer here is seeking assurance of retention and organizational loyalty. They don't want to hire someone who sees this job as, a 6-month stepping stone.
The goal is to show commitment to staying and growing with the company. You have to frame your ambition in terms of their organizational structure. Never, ever mention leaving soon or starting your own company, even if that's the long-term plan.
The examples provided are excellent blueprints for expressing ambition that is organizationally beneficial. For instance, I hope to grow with this company and take on more responsibilities. That suggests promotion and greater contribution.
Or focusing on becoming an essential subject matter expert. I want to become really good at this job and maybe lead a team someday. This shows you plan to master the role and eventually take on leadership.
And a stable, grounded answer for any field. I see myself as an experienced professional in this field, still working hard and learning. This communicates dependability and an ongoing professional investment in the role. You're signaling that your ambition is aligned with their stability. We are moving into Section 4, which deals with the professional transaction, your past history, and the very sensitive topic of compensation. The overarching theme here is professionalism, clarity, and above all else, positivity.
Starting with 4.1, discussing your last job and responsibilities. The temptation, especially when you're nervous, is to over-explain every single detail. The strategy is the opposite. Keep it clear, simple, and focused on the main high-level tasks.
Right. Think of it as summarizing a job description, not writing a memoir. If you were a cashier, keep the language direct. And then my last job, I was a cashier. I handled money and helped customers every day.
Or for an administrative role, you'd focus on the core functions. I worked as an office assistant, I answered phones, organized files, and helped my manager. This demonstrates your capacity for organization and support roles. The interviewer only needs enough information to confirm that your experience is relevant to their needs.
This clarity becomes even more crucial in 4.2. Why did you leave your last job? This is a classic behavioral question, and the rule here is absolute. The positivity rule. Never, under any circumstances, complain about your old boss, your old company, the workload, or your colleagues.
Complaining, even if it's justified, makes you sound like a potential conflict risk. The narrative has to be one of proactive professional choice and positive forward momentum.
So let's talk about how to positively spin a tricky situation. If you were truly unhappy because of a toxic culture, you never use those words. Instead, you focus on growth. I'm looking for new opportunities to grow and challenge myself in a more structured environment.
That framing is strategic gold. More structured environment is the positive way of saying less chaotic and toxic. If your previous company closed, you just state the fact. The company unfortunately downsized, and I'm now actively seeking a position where I can apply my skills.
Other positive options from the source material include seeking a new career path. I want to work in a different field that interests me more. Or if your logistics changed, I moved to a new city, so I needed to find a new job. You always emphasize that you are making a deliberate, positive choice for the future.
Moving on to 4.3, discussing skills and programs. Honesty is still paramount. Be truthful about your knowledge of programs like Microsoft Word, Excel, or any industry-specific software. But again, we have to address the skill gap.
If you encounter a program or a platform you don't know, this is a chance to reinforce your teachability, the theme we established earlier. It's so powerful to say, I don't know that program yet, but I'm willing to learn, and I pick up new software very quickly.
That phrase essentially says, I don't have this one tool right now, but I have the meta skill required to acquire it. It demonstrates intellectual curiosity and an openness to training, which minimizes the employer's risk and perceived effort in getting you up to speed.
And finally, the topic that generates the most sweat. 4.4, handling the salary question. For anyone listening, especially those from cultures where discussing money directly is taboo, this is profoundly difficult.
The first non-negotiable step is preparation. You have to conduct online research beforehand. Use salary comparison sites to find the typical pay range for similar jobs in your area. Knowing that range from X to Y gives you an internal confidence buffer.
Culturally, in many Western business environments, discussing salary is expected, and delaying it too much can actually make you seem inexperienced or evasive. The key is tactical delaying, allowing them to state their budget first.
The best tactic is to turn the question back to them professionally. You can use phrases that indicate flexibility and focus on the opportunity. I'm flexible on salary. What is the budgeted range for this position?
Or you can emphasize the non-monetary value. I'm more interested in the opportunity and the fit than just the compensation. What is a typical offer for someone with my experience level? You're subtly encouraging them to reveal the market value they're already prepared to pay.
If they absolutely press you for a number, you have to use your research. A research-based response is professional and defensible. Based on my research for similar roles in this area, I believe something between X and Y is fair compensation. Using a range is always safer than a fixed number because it shows flexibility and a readiness to negotiate.
The ultimate takeaway here is this. It is entirely acceptable to let them state their budget first.
Yeah.
Avoid locking yourself into a number too early. Salary negotiation is a phase that should really only happen after they have fully assessed your value and extended a formal offer. You don't want to sell your skills cheaply before they've realized how much they need you.
Section 5 focuses on behavioral questions and soft skills, the emotional intelligence required to integrate into a team and manage workplace pressure. These attributes are often better predictors of long-term success than pure technical skill alone.
We begin with 5.1. Are you a team player? In today's collaborative environment, there's only one acceptable answer, but it must be immediately followed by evidence.
The answer is always yes, but the follow-up has to be concrete. You need to provide a microexample that illustrates your cooperative nature. You could say, I really enjoy working with teams. In my last job, I collaborated with 5 other people on a major quarter-end project.
And if the role involves a lot of support, you should emphasize that aspect. I like helping my coworkers when someone needs support. I'm happy to assist them to meet our collective goal. This demonstrates a selfless approach to the team's mission.
Or you can frame it philosophically. I'm definitely a team player. I believe that diverse perspectives achieve better results, and I enjoy leveraging those different viewpoints. This shows you value the collaboration process itself. The key is communicating that you're not a solo operator, but someone who understands the synergy of group effort.
Moving to 5.2. How do you handle stress? The interviewer knows everyone experiences stress. They aren't looking for someone who never feels pressure. They're looking for someone who manages it calmly and methodically, without panic or a meltdown.
You have to demonstrate a reliable process, a structured defense mechanism against pressure. The strongest answers are the methodical ones. You can say, when I feel stressed or overwhelmed, I immediately make a detailed list of all my tasks, then I organize them by priority and work on them one by one.
That response is excellent because it shows an immediate pivot from emotion, stress, to action, organization, and prioritization. It confirms you have a process.
You can also focus on maintaining mental clarity. I stay calm under pressure. I take deep breaths and always focus on finding the solution rather than dwelling on the problem. This demonstrates emotional regulation.
And linking stress management back to overall organization is highly effective. I proactively try to stay organized so stress doesn't build up. I plan my work carefully and anticipate potential bottlenecks. This assures the interviewer that you prevent crises before they even start.
Finally, 5.3 covers tailoring answers to specific job types. While soft skills are universal, certain roles demand specific, demonstrated competencies.
For example, customer service roles are uniquely challenging. If you're asked about handling difficult customers, your strategy has to emphasize empathy and resolution.
Your answer should focus on a multi-step de-escalation process. I handle difficult customers by staying calm, listening carefully to their exact concern first, and then collaborating with them to find a solution that makes them feel heard and satisfied. Listening is the crucial first step that candidates often skip over.
And for office jobs, the central challenge is always deadlines and volume. The answer must demonstrate efficiency and focus under pressure.
You have to state that you prioritize tasks ruthlessly, using systems like urgent versus important, and that you stay focused under pressure by segmenting complex projects. You don't just handle deadlines, you manage your workflow to ensure they are met predictably.
And for creative jobs, they are looking for process and originality, but also how you handle critique. So when you're asked how you get ideas, don't just say, they come to me.
Explain your systematic approach. I draw inspiration from research in many different sectors, I always try new approaches, and I actively seek feedback loops to iterate and improve my concepts. This shows your creativity is disciplined and responsive to external needs, not just some sporadic genius. These tailored responses prove that you understand the specific operational demands of the role you're applying for.
We've arrived at our final, crucial section. This covers advanced fluency tips and the non-negotiable exit strategy. How to leave a final, powerful, and lasting professional impression, whether you're in person or meeting digitally.
Let's start at 6.1. Tools for professional and fluent communication. These are small linguistic devices, fluency fillers and connectors that dramatically increase your perceived fluency, especially for our learner audience. They help manage the cognitive load of translating, giving you time to think without resorting to or
This
silence.
is so critical for anyone interviewing in a second language. When you're translating on the spot, you need to buy time, and these phrases are professional buffers. If you need a moment to gather your thoughts, use. That's a good question. Let me think for a moment.
That phrase is a high-level professional move. It signals to the interviewer that you value their question enough to formulate a thoughtful, strategic response rather than just rushing out the first thing that comes to mind. It makes you sound reflective.
And when you finish your core point and want to elaborate or provide an example, you can use phrases to signal expansion. I'd also like to mention that. Or, for instance, or for example.
And demonstrating active listening and connection throughout the discussion is so important. Show you're following along and processing their points by using agreement phrases like, "I see what you mean," or "that makes sense." To show strong agreement, you can use, "I completely agree," and "furthermore."
Using connecting words like additionally or furthermore helps structure your thoughts clearly and transition logically from one point to the next, making your overall communication sound much more polished and professional. These small tools transform the conversation from a halting Q&A into a smooth, dynamic exchange.
Now, 6.2 covers adapting to phone and video interviews. These are fundamentally different environments, and they require specific logistical preparation to maintain that professional polish we talked about earlier.
For phone interviews, the logistics are location-based. Find a quiet place with excellent reception. Have your resume and notes visible, ready to reference. But the best psychological trick is simple. Remember to smile while you're speaking.
That simple physical act subtly changes the muscles in your face and the quality of your voice. You will sound warmer, more positive, and more energetic even though they can't see you. It's an immediate way to inject positive energy into a voice-only interaction.
Video interviews have higher stakes because of the visual element.
Yeah.
Test your camera and microphone rigorously beforehand. And then the eye contact rule. Look at the camera lens, not your own image on the screen.
Looking at the lens creates the illusion of direct eye contact, which is vital for connection and building trust. You also have to manage the background. A clean, non-distracting background is mandatory. And think about your lighting. You want light hitting your face from the front or slightly above, not from behind, which just turns you into a silhouette.
And remember, the confidence booster. Wear professional clothing, even if only the top half is visible. This helps you mentally adopt that professional persona, which translates into better, more confident performance. Treat the video call with the same seriousness as an in-person meeting.
Finally, the all-important exit strategy, starting with 6.3. Ending the interview and asking questions. We have to reiterate the rule. Always say yes when they ask, "Do you have any questions for me?" This shows engagement, seriousness, and that you are assessing the company too.
Asking questions demonstrates that you're thinking strategically about the role. Do not waste this opportunity. Good questions include clarifying the function. What would a typical day look like in this position? This shows you're interested in the granular reality of the job.
Or clarifying the success metrics. What qualities are you looking for in the ideal candidate? This gives you a final chance to highlight how your experience matches their expectations. You can also inquire about the environment. Can you tell me about the team I would work with and the collaboration structure?
And logistically, you must always establish the next steps. What are the next steps in the hiring process? Or can you tell me when I can expect to hear back from you? These are proactive questions that show you're eagerly anticipating the next stage.
Crucially, what you must save for later. Do not ask about vacation time, sick leave, or health benefits in the first interview. That transactional conversation waits until a formal offer is on the table after you've confirmed your value.
And 6.4, the polite exit and follow-up. If you're in person, stand up, make eye contact, smile, and deliver your final verbal statement with enthusiasm.
Your final words have to reiterate interest. Say, "Thank you for your time today. I really enjoyed our conversation." And a strong finish. "I'm very interested in this position and look forward to hearing from you soon."
The ultimate non-negotiable step is the follow-up email. Send a thank you email within 24 hours of the interview. Keep it short, professional, and personalized.
To personalize it, reference a specific point you discussed in the interview. For example, "I enjoyed learning about your team's new project on X, and I'm confident my experience in Y would be immediately beneficial." This confirms your professionalism and proves you were listening closely, keeping you fresh in their memory.
Our final point, 6.5, summarizes the necessary mindset: practice, authenticity, and resilience. This strategic advice is, well, it's useless if you don't practice it.
Preparation must involve practicing answers out loud, not just in your head. Use a friend, a mirror, or record yourself answering the 10 to 15 most common questions. This repetition builds muscle memory for the phrases and the structure, so when anxiety hits, your well-rehearsed professional script just kicks in automatically.
And remember, authenticity matters more than perfect grammar. Be yourself. Interviewers are looking for a genuine fit, a real person they can work with. They are generally rooting for you to succeed.
And finally, resilience. If you don't get the job, see every interview as practice. The single most proactive thing you can do is request feedback, professionally. Can you tell me how I can improve my presentation or skills for next time? This commitment to learning, even in rejection, is the sign of a true professional. Keep applying, keep practicing, and your confidence will only grow. #outro evenly.
What a detailed roadmap we've laid out today. We've taken the job interview process, often seen as chaotic and daunting, and restructured it into 6 strategic phases. Remember the core principles. Be polite, be positive, structure your answers to showcase measurable results, speak clearly, listen carefully to every question, and absolutely send that personalized follow-up email.
Confidence is not a personality trait you're born with. It's a direct consequence of strategic preparation. You, the learner, now have the specific English phrases and the professional cultural context necessary to present your most capable self. The right job is out there waiting, and this toolkit ensures you're ready to seize it.
And here is a final thought to hold on to as you prepare for your next opportunity. Our source material consistently frames the interview as a professional discussion, not a high-pressure test where you're trying to avoid failure. If you consciously choose to treat the interviewer as a future colleague you're collaborating with, discussing a potential working relationship, rather than a judge trying to catch you out, how might that subtle internal shift change your posture, your energy, and the openness of the entire conversation?
That mindset changes everything. Treat it like a peer discussion about mutual needs.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Keep practicing these strategies, stay confident in your value, and good luck with your next interview.